live to New York and talk to Lisa Bloom, who's the trial lawyer at the Bloom firm representing one of Jeffrey Epstein's accusers. Thanks for talking to us tonight, Lisa. First of all, your reaction to this verdict that Ghislaine Maxwell is guilty on 5 of 6 counts of grooming and trafficking teenage girls.
Thank you. And actually, I represent 8 victims of Jeffrey Epstein, one of whom also has accusations against Ghislaine Maxwell. We are moved to tears that justice has finally arrived after so many decades of Ghislaine Maxwell walking free on this earth. May she never walk free again. Her actions have devastated the lives of so many girls and young women, interfering with their relationships and their careers and their sex lives and their mental health. And they have to live with that for the rest of their lives. It's just a very powerful day. My clients and I are beyond thrilled that at last justice has been served.
Thanks for that correction earlier on, and I learn as well that you're also in Los Angeles watching events in central Manhattan in New York. You refer to those women who have testified. 4 of them took to the stand, and they've been called tremendously inspirational, all of them testifying to the trial about the abuse they suffered. The bravery can't be underestimated as to what they did.
You know, it's almost hard to put into words. I mean, imagine the most humiliating, awful experiences of your life, and then having to go in front of a room full of strangers after having to talk to law enforcement and prosecutors and lawyers about over and over and over. And then you have to go in and testify. And then you have to be subjected to cross-examination. And well, you said it a little bit differently 2 years ago, and now you're saying it this way. Well, you had a drug addiction problem. Well, you had a sexual issue. Over and over again. Just these brutal, painful questions, but they endured it. They were very brave. And I want everybody out there to know, because I represent many victims of sexual abuse now against high-profile predators, that you do not have to be perfect. You can have made mistakes in your life, as we all have. You can even have told the story differently in the past before you were ready to tell the full version later. It's okay. You can still be believed. And these 4 women were believed. And now Ghislaine Maxwell is a convicted sex trafficker facing the rest of her life probably in prison because of the courage, the tremendous courage of these 4 women, and also the hard work of the police and the prosecutors and the attorneys who brought this case to justice.
The defence case was that Ghislaine Maxwell was being scapegoated for the real crimes of Jeffrey Epstein, and in fact, as you say, brought the testimonies of those 4 brave young women into question. The star witness of the defence team being Elizabeth Loftus, the University of California's psychology professor, who told the jury people can have false memories of traumatic events. What was your reaction to that?
Well, I've litigated cases against her. You know, she's never seen a sexual abuse victim who she believes. And my cases against her go back to the 1990s. I hope that she retires now, because it's really offensive to me that for large amounts of money, she's willing to come into court and say the sexual abuse victims are liars, their memories can't be trusted. It's just offensive. But I'm glad the jury saw through it. They asked to review her testimony. They asked to review a lot of testimony. The jury took their time. They were very careful. And ultimately, they rejected these ridiculous defense arguments, and they sided with the victims.
So can I just get your reaction to a tweet put out by Virginia Giuffre just a short time ago, which says, "My soul yearned for justice for years, and today the jury gave me just that. I will remember this day always," she writes. "Having lived with the horrors of Maxwell's abuse, my heart goes out to the many other young girls and young women who suffered at her hand and whose lives she destroyed." And she carries on in a separate tweet. "I hope that today is not the end, but rather another step in justice being served. Maxwell did not act alone. Others must be held accountable. I have faith they will be."
Virginia is so brave and incredible, and she has been fighting for justice for a long time. And her name came up in this trial repeatedly. There was one very poignant moment where the driver testified that he remembered driving Ghislaine to Mar-a-Lago, which is owned by Donald Trump. And there was a young girl dressed all in white coming out of the spa, like a spa worker. And Ghislaine said, "Stop the car." And she got out and went up and talked to this girl. That ended up being Virginia Roberts, now Virginia Giuffre. And I just got chills when I heard that testimony, thinking about how Virginia's life was changed so drastically forever after because of that one chance meeting. And indeed, she has been standing up against Epstein and Maxwell for many years and now has filed a lawsuit against Prince Andrew, accusing him of sexual abuse.